protect Martin. It's going into a 50-50 situation, and Fremantle cleaning those up.
So Fremantle looking to leapfrog Carlton and maybe a couple of other teams depending on results.
Play on advantage.
Hill got the free kick, a lucky one. Quickly played the advantage down towards Pavlich. The kick came from Sutcliffe. Frawley needs to be careful. Ballantyne got him from behind Pavlich there as well. They might have done enough, Melbourne, to force a bounce.
You see on the substitutes there, Sutcliffe was the player who kicked it into Pavlich. He's used the ball pretty well on his couple of occasions inside the forward 50. He's going to have fresh legs, so he might be a real surprise packet for the Dockers in this last quarter.
Melbourne haven't won here at Etihad since round 19, 2007. Looking for just their third win of 2012. The ball comes out Barlow's way. He throws it on the boot. It bounces. Goal inside the first minute of the final term. Melbourne by a point.
Yeah, it's interesting. He's probably the last player I expect to come out like that. It was a kick around the corner, open goal line. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no defence. You can't have someone sitting in the goal mouth goalkeeping there. Melbourne had the players in the right position, just didn't smother it at the right spot. So this is, well, it puts it back on even keel now. So there's no extra defenders required. It's just a matter of now making sure when you go forward, you score.
Well, the Demons have led for 88 of 90 minutes. The Dockers get it back to within just 1 point. The D's have got out to 20 points a couple of times in this match, and the Dockers have always answered.
In there, it's pinned in there. Right on top of him.
These are the clearances that count so much because they've both got reasonably open forward lines.
So again, third man up this time. It's Tringo who slaps the ball forward.
Didn't have the ball, Sutcliffe. No, he didn't have it.
So Sutcliffe just puts it in front of Hill. We know he's got the speed and the pace. It'll sit for him. We'll get onto his left boot, kick it forward. Main. Well, the kick was terrific.
That was a great kick. I mean, that shows you the danger of Fremantle on the spread. You saw when they really worked away from that free kick. Saw the wings open. Hill, you're never going to catch him. Really developing into a top-class player. And the Daniel Wells type of mold. But that kick had to be centimetre perfect over the top, and it was.
Well, he's been good in front of goals all year. He hasn't troubled the scoreboard attendant this afternoon. Quickly he goes on. De Boer, second grab, couldn't take it. Demons are going to get out of jail. Quickly they go to Green. And now hurriedly to half-back Bate underneath it all. Probably happy with the result.
Happy with the result. Probably could have got a free kick for a clip over the ear, but it is a good result. Well done by Brad Green. He has stood up brilliantly as a leader in this young club.
Martin down to McKenzie. Desperate second effort. Sylvia hard at the football as well. Mundy, Green, the former skipper. It's been nice to have him around this afternoon if you're a Demons fan.
And I'll say young club, no, old club, young team.
We mentioned coming into this round, one of 5 teams, Fremantle on 28 points. Kangaroos, of course, have leapfrogged Carlton. Fremantle can get over the top of the Blues, and depending on what happens to Richmond and St Kilda in this round, could be 9th. The ball now towards the 50. Pennard sweating on Johnson. Bales there. He's already kicked a wonderful goal today. A good tackle applied from behind by Spur, and the footy over the line for a throw-in.
Inside front 50, that's where you need it. This is where it's going to be locked in. Stephen Martin's right up the line, so he's not rucking, so they're going to concede the ruck work.
Rivers was doing the ruck work there from behind. Spur getting involved. It comes back to Rivers. He throws it on the boot. It's not accurate, just to behind. The Demons lead 2 points.
Still man-on-man, the D's, and what we saw earlier in the piece was Fremantle huddling to get the loose man out, but they're not doing it on this occasion. So structures and discipline really important as the longer the game goes on.
And that's what Ross Lyon's all about with his coaching, structure and discipline.
Well, the Dockers, nothing on long. They just chip the ball around, retain possession. McFarlane goes over the top, hoping for Pearce in the end. The spell was good from Nicholson.
I mean, I'm going to harp on this, but Martin was outside the front 50 on that kick in. He had to run inside the 50. He's going to be absolutely exhausted, and Fremantle are working right over here.
Jones somehow finds Howe onto the left boot. He goes. Can the Demons manufacture a grab here? All Dockers. Bait at the fall of the ball. Ibbotson, he beat him to it. Crashed the kick. Found Barlow by mistake more than anything else. He retreats and goes back to Johnson.
Didn't look pretty, but it was the wise play, given that Barlow looked upfield and there was nothing on. And Sutcliffe, in just his second game, has got a fair bit of the footy, but not a good disposal that time. And Rivers marks on half forward. Sutcliffe started as the sub. He's had 5 possessions. Long kick forward by Rivers. Bait outnumbered. And a couple of players combining. McFarlane, one of them, to get the footy over the line.
Played that really well, Luke McFarlane. He was playing on Brad Green, who actually presented to Rivers. Just needed to drop the ball inside, but as soon as he went long, experienced McFarlane belts it over the line.
Rivers again doing the ruck work. Caught behind. It falls at the front to Grimes. It's offline, just behind. Melbourne's lead out to 3 points.
Doing all the attacking and doing it very, very well. Holding that ball in there. They're going one-on-one, and that's a danger when you have quick players in the middle who are prepared to break up. Watch Hill in there. He's actually being held. He's going to come out the back and be probably the second or third target here.
They work it again to the Medallion Club side. Bouncing ball. Well done, James Strauss. A late in this afternoon. In fact, it stayed in. McPhee, little one, and Duffield's away. He goes down the line, hugs the boundary, finds Barlow.
Hill's copping a lot of physical pressure. He's only had a couple of touches in that third quarter. Teams try to work him out and work him over.
Well, over the top of Pav, but end up with Walters, and he goes to Main in a very scoreable position. To a man who is seriously accurate from set shots, and this to wrestle the lead back again in favour of the Dockers.
Well, you just got to say, you can understand why Ross Lyons sent him back, Walters back, to get himself right, because his use of the football has been very, very good.
17-1 from set shots this year. His behind was last weekend to put the Dockers in front, and Main doesn't let them down. Dockers are in front for the second time. So Chris Main was having a lean afternoon. He gets the goal the Dockers needed to put them in front in this final term. The Demons have been plucky all afternoon. They've led for most of it. Fremantle lead for now.
This is fantastic vision. If you're wondering why Chris Main has kicked 18 goals, one in 2012, he's got a clear routine that he's obviously worked on. He's paced it out, knows exactly what he's doing, and very reliably shot on goal as a result.
Umpire calls for another bounce, and fair enough, it was well outside the second circle. Fremantle have kicked the last 4 goals of the game to get their noses in front by 3 points for a second time. Last time they led, they held that lead for just 90 seconds. Ball thrown up. Griffin down to Grimes.
Jordy McKenzie.
Explanation from the ump.
Both players tough at it. There's no one picking and choosing here. They're all going for the football. They all know the ramifications, particularly Fremantle. And Melbourne want to get a victory on this ground.
Yeah, really entertaining game of footy.
Free kick against Mundy, so it comes out Strauss's way. He goes long down towards full forward and filling the gap. A late inclusion, Spur, who's had a good game. This is possession number 16. He goes out wide, camped under it. That's a free kick for Broughton.
Uses the ball very well, Spur.
He looks a good player. So Broughton, the free kick against Bate. He hugs the line. Pavlich the lead. It wasn't a good kick for him. Bounced in front. Pavlich did well to stay in front of the football. Hill missed it. Now taken by Howe. Gives it to Martin. They cough it up now, the Demons. Barlow might have been holding the ball. Not sure that he disposed of it correctly. Well done by Jordy McKenzie, who was busy in there as well. Brett Kirk.
Yes, Basil. Burnell still hasn't come up to the bench, so it's obviously a serious injury, and let's hope it doesn't impact on him the rest of his season.
Thanks, Kirky. So, Mark J. Murray, if you've just joined us, out early in the match with a calf problem, and as you heard Kirky say, Jamie Burnell probably no further part in this game. So the Demons down by 1. Barlow crashes it forward. Chance for Ballantyne almost, just about to let the ball run past and turn around and run onto it. The Demons desperate here. Little one from Hill was good. Clancy Pearce quickly to Main, to Mzungu. Lost his feet. Sylvia picks it up, paddles it forward. McKenzie sends the handball wide, misses the target. And it remains in dangerous territory for the Demons.
See there, 8 to 12 interchanges. That gives you a reflection of how many players you actually got on the bench. In Melbourne's case, only 2.
Through the hands of Martin, still no one can win it. Pavlich been good this afternoon. Has 3 straight.
So a lot of numbers around.
Sorry, Cookie.
There's a lot of numbers under the ruckman here. Look to him to hit to space with Hill on the fly.
Only 12 players not immediately around the ball on the ground. Griffin, Martin. Griffin to Ballantyne. Quick kick, hurried kick. High ball, won't be 15. Big pack, flies Main, gets hands, gives it off. That is wonderful from Chris Main, and an easy goal to Michael Barlow. Main, outstanding. Well, Chris Main did all the hard work, sat underneath it for a long time. Went to ground, picked it up, dished it off Barlow into the open goal, and suddenly a little bit of breathing space for the Dockers. 9 points now, their largest lead of the afternoon.
Barlow finishes it off, but it was Chris Main's goal. If you want to show an example to young boys about keeping your eyes on the footy, there it is just there. Chris Main, well done.
Well, I wonder, was that a mark?
Not 15.
Okay, so out of the middle, Hill, he sends it long down towards the 50. Walters has been terrific today, coming back into the big league. Mzungu had bounced away from him. That was a little unlucky. And in there fighting hard is Nicholson, and the ball will be bounced. You've got a feel for that man. His team have played with tremendous spirit today. They lost Jamar in the first term, and Bennell gone for the game, and Grimes out for large periods. Bale taken high. It was against De Boer, a little reckless.
On now. Play on.
So can Melbourne answer yet again? They've been terrific at fighting their way back into this contest all match. Hamish has said the lead has been theirs more often than it hasn't been. But maybe they're just running out of players and a bit of energy now. Ball tossed in. Mundy was slow. He got around the traffic and gave the football to Crowley, who gives it short to De Boer. Wants to play on straight away. Main leads over his head. Pavlich trying to take it in the fingertips. Gave it to Pavlich. Walters back in the big league. Welcome back, Sun. Freo by 15 points.
Chris Main's having a last quarter, hasn't he? He's really stood up. Got himself, obviously kicked the set shot, fed off the last goal to Barlow and involved again. Just really good use of the hands there. Drew the Melbourne defender in, and Walters has been a great acquisition for the Dockers.
Sun was the nickname he was given when growing up as a lad, living next door to Nick Nat Nui with Chris Yarran on the other side. It was a famous street in Midvale, Bushby Street, and Sun, the nickname given to him by his dad. He'd sing him a lullaby, trying to get him to bed. It's a marvellous return to the big league. He's worked so hard at Swan Districts, and he's loving every minute of it.
Very good celebrator, isn't he? Kicked that wonderful goal against the Lions last year, late in the game. One of the best celebrations of all time. Almost dislocated his shoulder. Nicholson just handballs to a bit of space. In the end, Trengo picks it up back into the middle. McDonald just gets around a couple, not the third.
Correct disposal.
And Mundy will hand it back to Pearce, and the Dockers will be off again. This time Pearce looks to the leading skipper, and the kick's perfect. And Pav's starting to get a bit of it. He's got 3 straight.
Yeah, it's running the script. The ruck work has been... Martin is just tiring. The midfield, the genuine midfielders are starting to take over. In front of them, they have fresh forwards who are leading up at the player, and the use of the ball has jumped up. Fremantle's use is slightly better than what it was in the third quarter. So, and you end up with a player like Pavlich with it on about a 50-metre line. So the script is perfect for him.
Pavlich to join Brian Taylor on 527 career goals. He gets it, and the Dockers, you think, are in the box seat. So the Demons, who have led at every change, have got overrun late. And the Dockers now a game-high lead for either side of 21 points. They've been accurate this afternoon, the Dockers, 16-6. And Pav has 4 of those.
Beautiful kick of the footy, Matthew Pavlich, and what we're seeing is the 2 on the bench is really starting to hurt Melbourne. Uncontested possession of Fremantle, 22-10, 11 marks to 1. They're really starting to spread them hard.
Fremantle have kicked the last 7 goals of the game and 5 straight to 2 behinds in this final term to take a 21-point lead. Melbourne trying to get something going late. The ball thumped inside 50 by Strauss. McFarlane, he's been good today, as he has been all season, and he just helps the ball towards the boundary line and over.
Well, this is interesting. Martin's coming off for a breather. Rivers will look like he's going to come on, may go into the ruck. There's no ruck going against him there, so...
Yeah, Griffin on his own probably could have done even better. Hill carried forward. Pierce Jones got him high.
Hi, Jonesy, let him up. High on.
He's had a big afternoon of work.
Right there, Cole.
Taking a breather. Now Ibbotson with the football. Fremantle's second highest possession winner this afternoon. It's had 20. Goes to McFarlane, who's had plenty of it. 23, the most for Mundy.
Hold there, Matt.
And now McPhee. At the other end, Matthew Pavlich has kicked at least 4 goals for the 3rd week in a row. Now 24 goals in his last 5 games. Long one. Flying high at the back. Main couldn't mark. The ball down towards Bale. Now Strauss close to the line. Fisted forward by McFarlane. He did that nicely. Running into trouble was Blease. It came to Couch. They get the ball out to Pettard, who throws it onto the boot. But it's offline just to behind.
Just makes you wonder where the goals are going to come from with Melbourne. Now they're searching. They've lost Rivers from the forward line. Of course, and he's going to be chasing the ruckman around.
Interesting footage there. Brian Roll and Mark Jamo almost coaching Stephen Martin on the ruck craft on the bench.
So the ball ends up with Spur, who Mick Malthouse said uses it well, and again the kick is terrific to Sutcliffe. Quick one to Ballantyne, goes long. It is just offline for Hayden Ballantyne.
Been around for a while, Spur. He's 25 in next couple of weeks, I think, so it's not as if he's a baby, so you expect that when they're bringing a player in like that, he's got some quality, and he has used the ball beautifully.
So it's the Dockers by 21 points, a short one to Frawley. McDonald's kick it was, and now Trengove, who's marked. He's tried his heart out today. In less than a month, his sister Jessica will be running the marathon for Australia at the London Olympics, the 24-year-old. She only ran her first marathon back in March. It's a terrific performance to win qualification onto the Aussie team. We wish her all the best. And her brother has been a real leader for the Demons today, the youngest captain in AFL history of the permanent variety. And now against Jones, the free kick for a throw. A little bit unlucky there. Just trying to move the ball out.
The ball was probably out. I mean,
yeah.
he certainly threw the ball. No doubt about that, but it might have just been out.
Back to your point, Mick, on Lee Spur. He played in 3 premierships for Central Districts in 5 years, so they got a good look at him.
Duffield's kick long in the Pavlich direction. Garland behind him, as he's been for most of the afternoon. In fact, McDonald it was that time. Here's Rivers, plies the tackle. Griffin it was on. Now Grimes and Mundy, the 2-16s, lock it up, and the ball will be bounced.
It's going to be a long 8 minutes for Melbourne.
Yeah.
They're just rotating players, hopefully just through the middle, because they're the ones that will need it. Martin will be back on. Oh, he's already back on, so it's a great education for some of these younger players.
If you just joined us, Demons by 20 points at quarter time, 13 at half time, 7 at the final change, but the Dockers have kicked 7 in a row, lead it by 7 points now. Rivers got set upon by white jumpers and the ball spills.
Still in Melbourne players well, 11.
Still time for Melbourne, but it's that age-old adage, usually the first side that gets to 100 points usually wins the game, as Fremantle have done. But as Mick said, a great learning experience for them. Don't want to rest on their laurels and just say, oh, well, we've had a few injuries, need to run this game out, put some pressure back on.
The live ladder there, the Dockers knocking on the door of the 8, not getting in, the percentage not quite as they would have liked. The worst of the 5 teams coming in with 7 wins this weekend. To the outer side, here's a chance for the Demons. All alone, Tom Couch will lead McPhee to the ball, won't take it cleanly. Off the head, McPhee, time to go and get it again. Bate, the tackler strong, he holds it up. Well, the umpire lets it roll along for now, and he'll bounce. So Tom Couch, not sure whether it's his Falcon or McPhee's. It all happened pretty quickly, but the Demons hold it in for the moment. Dockers by 21. Still time, as Tom Harley said, for the D's. They've led for the bulk of the match, but the Dockers lead when it really matters, and that's deep into the final term.
Just over 7.5 to play. And Griffin with 10 disposals for the afternoon. He's got better as the game's gone on, and rucking against Rivers has obviously helped his hit-out count. Mundy takes the ball, standing up.
For free, too long.
And you're a bit unlucky there. You're the player going for the footy, trying to make something happen. But Rivers applied the tackle and incorrect disposal.
Yeah, knocked out of his hand. It's hard. That's given him, yet others aren't. It's a real fine line. Umpires, I feel sorry for them trying to make those decisions because they're going to make them the spur of the moment.
10th disposal for the afternoon coming up for Jared Rivers. Kick on its way. It's gone across the face. The Freo fans at the back of those goals. At the Lockett end of the ground, they clap that one through. It's a 20-point lead for the Dockers.
50.
Well, it's all running the Dockers' way now. Mick, to your point in regard to goal kicking for the D's, Liam Jarrah, the leading goal scorer for last year, is out. Brad Green in today and kicking a few. Colin Sylvia's not really bothered the scoreboard attendant this year.
No, he's up the ground too, so he's playing more mid.
And they're struggling. And we saw Jared Rivers, a backman for a long time, kicking. Well, Mitch Clark, he's out for the year. So they've struggled. They've done well. They've manufactured 12, but they haven't been easy.
No, and when you think 6 come in the first quarter, and then it's been a progression 2, 4, and what is it? None. So yeah, it's always the case. Bottom sides always tend to struggle. They get a big burst on, but then they haven't got the consistency. And there's a bloke here having a shot for a goal. He's been consistent over his whole life, and as Basil said, he's kicked so many in the last 4 or 5 weeks.
23 in the last 5 weeks. This for 5, his first blemish for the afternoon across the face. The margin, well, it's gettable for the Demons. It's not out of reach, but the Dockers have been terrific in the last 30 minutes.
Melbourne haven't kicked a goal since the 21-minute mark of the 3rd term. A wonderful running goal by Blease. Now Frawley called to go. He goes with a long one towards the outer side. And Martin drifts in from the side and takes a very good grab.
It's a great learning curve for Stephen Martin. If anything's come out of the game, it's the ability to say that Martin may have to step up for the rest of the year and get some more games under his belt.
Sylvia's kick wasn't good. McFarlane just camped under it, and here's Kepler Bradley waiting for it to send Fremantle back into attack. So we saw the live ladder not long ago. Fremantle will be in 9th spot at the end of this game with a couple of teams below them still to play. How's the umpire seen this? 50 metres.
Came off the boot, ricocheted to Bradley, took the mark, and then was taken to ground, I think, Baz.
It couldn't have been 15, though, surely.
That's what he said.
And then gets an 80-metre 50.
There's no way in the world that was 15 metres. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tom.
No, I don't think you're wrong there, Baz. Let's say he's quite rightly to be aggrieved there.
No, the umpire said it was 15. Umpire Stuart Wen. Right there, Kepler Bradley to make it 8 consecutive goals for the Fremantle Dockers. From 35 metres out, not quite, but almost directly in front, he hits the post.
It's funny on that one, whether it was 15 or not, we can debate, but as a defender like Cole was in that situation, because it was a soccer, you naturally just play on and just think it's the ball that's come out, so he wouldn't have treated it as a mark, so very stiff.
And the instinct also, Tommy, is to tackle.
That's exactly right.
Straight over the line, mate.
If he'd kicked it from hand to foot, I'm sure he wouldn't have done it.
Well, there's the square up.
Deliberate against Bradley on the outer side. They work their way down the line, the D's. Off hands, ends up with McFarlane, who had such a brief stint as a Hawk, and well, they go backwards, the Dockers, and into the hands of Duffield.
Very hard to score when you're loading up your back line. There just seem to be one or two short in their forward line in the last quarter and a half, and it makes it very difficult to score.
And the Dockers are going to have a win this afternoon, but for a long time the Demons looked like they were just going to hang around. They led at every change, and not sure what you make of this from a Demons win. They're 2 from 2 at Etihad this year after beating the Saints after winning 2 of the previous 17, and they're still in the hunt.
Here's Hill. He's kicked a breathtaking goal already this afternoon. He dishes to Robert and decided not to take them on. It's a long kick from Robert, and outnumbered though is Crowley. And getting back to take a good mark is Tom McDonald, who's had a very industrious afternoon. He's had his hands full, but he's played well, Tom.
Yeah, I think he's been good. I think particularly earlier, the Melbourne defenders really did stand up. Havlich has got a hold. Chris Mayne's had a really good last quarter, but for the norm, some pleasing signs out of the Melbourne defence.
Third lowest crowd ever at Etihad Stadium for any game, and second lowest for a match involving the Demons. The ball over the line is going to be thrown in. Melbourne's lowest crowd at Etihad, 12,500 against Fremantle back in round 21, 2001. And their second lowest crowd today also against Fremantle.
Well, the Demons, they've been good this afternoon. The Dockers will get the points as Blees sends it in the Howe direction, but in the end, the Dockers again have got the numbers.
Pushed him out.
It's going the way of Jeremy Howe, I think.
Straight back to him.
Everyone confused, and it's Trengove, is it? I've already said Howe.
Well, Melbourne haven't got enough players in the front 50. They can't mark this. Just +3 by Fremantle.
Trengove, long ball, Rivers. Well, Mayne gets back, gets a hand on it. It'll spill to Walters, his first game of the year after being sent back to the waffle. He's been pretty exciting at times, but he took too long then.
First option, Mick.
Well, if he had a hand pass that, the Melbourne players running an open goal. I can't understand what Rivers was worried about. Perhaps it's the danger of 50 metres, didn't know who the free kick was going to go for.
So Grimes, not used to kicking goals, so doesn't go in that direction. This is going to really hurt. Ends up with Ballantyne winning the battle against McDonald. But he gets held up. Awkward bounce in the end. I thought he was going to stream into an open goal. He gives it to Hill. Ugly sort of around the corner ball that is perfect in the end.
Nothing ugly about it, Hamer. I think that was a
deliberate.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great kick. Have a look at this. Summed up the situation well. Had nowhere to go.
Perfect.
That is a great kick.
Yeah. My apologies to the whole Ballantyne family.
And Hill made the play. Hill's pace made the play. Ballantyne's smoothness, if you like, under pressure.
Yeah, it was terrific from Ballantyne, and Hill. Can he make it 8 in a row for the Dockers? Looks like he can. Wonderful finish. And the Dockers, they stay in touch. As we've said, their percentage isn't terrific, but this was a must-win this afternoon. They've got a few weeks ahead of them that are winnable games. They came in today 7-7. They'll leave 8-7. They've got the Giants next week, back at home, and then Port at Amy before they take on the West Coast in the local derby. So a big month ahead of them. Importantly, they get 4 points today.
It was a great run by Stephen Hill there. He was able to finish that off with a super goal. Watched him closely at stoppages. He works inside a lot. I think he needs to get the balance of his inside-outside stuff a bit better to make him more effective.
Tendai Mzungu on the receiving end there earlier. That was on replay. Geordie McKenzie trying to get the ball out towards Trengove. Just over a minute to play, so Fremantle are going to get the job done. In the end, their lead now 28 points. but it certainly didn't come easily this afternoon. Mundy with a long one. Big fly from behind by Matthew Pavlich in the game where he earns AFL Life membership. Would have been a lovely finish to the afternoon. He had a chance at 5 goals. Mundy now kicks forward. Here's Walters. Pearce off the ground, and Pearce goals. Dockers by 34 points. They will get win number 8, and they'll keep the pressure on North Melbourne, and for that matter Richmond and St Kilda still to play in this round. There's the big fly from the Pav. Not quite the mark, but a nice jump, that's for sure.
Yeah, winding the clock back there, Pav. Really great work by Michael Walters. He's had a fantastic return to AFL football, controlled the space of the ground really well. He'll be very satisfied with his game. Clancy Pearce also up to 19 disposals now, a couple of goals. Really solid contributor for the Dockers today.
Take us through the wins there, Tommy.
Struggled in the last 2, win their first 2.
So the Dockers have trailed at quarter time, half time and 3/4 time. They'll lead in the end as Stephen Martin just finishes a tough day after Mark Jamar disappeared earlier. Blees on the end of a handball, breaks the tackles. Something late for the Demons, not quite. Gets caught holding the ball.
Thanks, mate. No, he's right, son.
And Mundy, no doubt, will just chip it around and ice the clock. 4 points will go the way of Fremantle in front of a smallish crowd. The Demons' home game at Etihad Stadium, their first time here this year. It'll be a loss. And the Dockers, who started 5-2, get their noses in front again on the win-loss ratio. They're 8-7, and they continue to head towards the finals.